The clay is still wet. A man presses the cut end of a reed into it, once, then twice, and makes a mark that means barley. Outside, the heat is coming off the mud brick in slow waves. Below the temple terrace, a woman is carrying beer in a coarse bowl the size of 2 cupped hands, and she has never met the man who will drink it. It is around the year 3200 before Christ, on the floodplain of southern Mesopotamia. The city around them has just become the largest gathering of human beings anywhere on Earth. Its name is Uruk. What did it actually feel like to live in the first city? Not the first village, not the first temple, the first place where you could walk from one end of your own street to the other and pass more faces than you could ever learn in a lifetime. The answer is not in the temples. It is in a piece of clay the size of your palm, and it quietly overturns what most people believe about why human beings began to write. Uruk stood on a channel of the Euphrates, in what is now Al-Muthanna province in southern Iraq. The river has since moved. The ruins, the place is called Warka today, sit in dry desert, some 30 kilometers from any water at all. At its height in this period, the city covered roughly 250 hectares, 2.5 square kilometers of continuous settlement. Estimates of the population differ, and the honest ones stay wide, somewhere between 20,000 and 40,000 people. Every other settlement on that plain held a few hundred. They ate barley bread, dates, onions, dried fish from the marshes, mutton on festival days. They drank barley beer, thick and faintly sour, closer to porridge than to anything in a modern glass. And here's the thing almost no one knows about the first city. It glittered. The great buildings of the Iana precinct were studded with tens of thousands of baked clay cones, each about the length of a finger, their flat heads painted red, black, and white, driven into wet plaster to form zigzag mosaics across walls and columns. Sunlight struck them like scales on a fish. It is the oldest architectural decoration on Earth. Come down now to the level of a single working day. A man walks to the temple district at dawn to be counted. We do not know his name, but the excavation records tell us thousands like him lived here. He is not paid in silver. There is no coinage yet. It will not exist for more than 2,500 years. He is paid in barley, and the barley arrives in a bowl. Archaeologists have pulled these bowls out of Uruk by the tens of thousands. Bevel rim bowls, crude, thick-walled, pressed into a mold rather than turned, all close to the same size. Among the first mass-produced objects in human history, and they were treated as disposable. Used, dropped, piled in heaps like paper cups behind a stadium. Now the detail that should stop you. In the earliest writing from Uruk, the sign meaning food ration is a picture of that bowl. The German archaeologist Hans Niesen and his colleagues traced the shape directly into the sign. The word for sustenance, in the first written language on Earth, is the outline of the container it was handed out in. Autumn, the harvest is in, and the counting begins. A scribe holds a lump of river clay flattened in his palm, still cool, still smelling of the canal. He draws with the point of a reed and presses numbers with the blunt end. Round holes, crescent notches. Roughly 5,000 of these earliest tablets survive. Around 9 out of 10 are accounts. Barley in, sheep out, beer, textiles, oil, work days, debts. On one of them, written a little after 3,100 before Christ, someone recorded 29,086 measures of barley received across 37 months. Then added a single name at the end, Kushim. Kushim may be the oldest personal name recorded anywhere in the world. The Assyriologist Robert England has cautioned that it could be a title rather than a person, an office, not a man. But if it is a name, then the first human being whose name reaches us across 5,000 years was not a king, not a prophet, not a poet. he was an accountant, and he was counting the barley for beer. The remaining tablets, the 10th that are not accounts, are stranger and more moving. They are lists of words, lists of trees, lists of vessels, of fish, of cattle, of officials. One of them, which scholars call the Standard Professions List, ranks around 100 titles in order of seniority. Student scribes copied it for more than 1,000 years, in cities hundreds of kilometers away, long after the offices it named had ceased to exist. There was a room in Uruk where children learned signs by pressing them into clay, and their practice tablets survive with the errors still in them. And what they were learning would defeat most of us. In the earliest system, there was not one set of numbers. There were at least 5, and by some counts, more than a dozen, each used for a different kind of thing. The sign for a quantity of grain was not the sign for the same quantity of sheep. A number was not yet an idea. It was still fastened to the object it counted. Centuries would pass before anyone thought of 10 as 10, alone by itself. Above all of it rose the terrace. On the western side of the city, they raised a platform some 13 meters high and set on top of it a temple washed in white gypsum. On a plain that flat, it could be seen for many kilometers, a bright rectangle floating above the horizon, arriving in the eye before the city did. They exported themselves too, 800 kilometers upriver in what is now Syria, at a place called Habuba Kabira. Archaeologists uncovered a planned town built around 3,300 before Christ, with Uruk's street grid, Uruk's seals, Uruk's ration bowls. The first city was also the first culture to copy itself at a distance. And inside its walls, something had happened that had never happened to our species. For 200,000 years or more, human beings lived in groups where every face was known. The anthropologist Robin Dunbar has argued that our minds are built for roughly 150 stable relationships. In Uruk, a person stepped out of their door into 30,000 strangers. Call it the stranger threshold, the point at which a settlement outgrows what a single mind can hold and must invent something to remember on its behalf. This is what the clay is really telling us. For a long time, the story of writing was told as a story of glory, that we learn to write in order to praise gods, record kings, preserve poems. The excavations at Uruk say something plainer and stranger. For the first 600 years of its existence, writing had almost nothing to say. No prayers, no epics, no love, only quantities and names and months and who owed what to whom. The first literary texts appear around 2600 before Christ. 6 centuries after the first tablets, writing was not invented to speak. It was invented to remember. And it was invented because a city of strangers cannot run on memory and on trust between people who know each other's faces. When you cannot recognize the man across the table, you need a mark that outlives the conversation. That mark is the tablet. Literature, law, scripture, history, all of it is a later use of a tool built to keep strangers honest. You still live inside that invention. Every time you take a numbered ticket at a counter, every time you keep a receipt, sign a contract, check a balance, or trust that the person who delivered your food has been recorded somewhere by someone you will never meet. That is Uruk's technology. Not the wheel, not the plow, the list. The reason you can live among millions of strangers without violence is not that you are gentler than the people of the floodplain. It is that you inherited their solution. 5,000 years later, you cross the stranger threshold every morning, and the crossing is still held up by writing. The tablets from Uruk are small. Most would fit in your hand, gray, unremarkable, easy to walk past in a museum case, and every civilization you have ever heard of is standing on them. There is one more thing worth sitting with. Under the sand at Warka, there are tablets no one has read yet, and among them, almost certainly, names. People who were counting. Whose counting outlived them? Who never knew that being written down was a form of immortality. The first thing our species ever wrote down was not a prayer, or a poem, or the name of a king. It was how much we owed each other. We have not stopped writing it since.